Hey yo, what's up? This is Kim. I'm back with another interview. And today, here I have a man who don't need any introduction, but I'm gonna give him an introduction anyway. See, this is Young Zion Majesty. He goes by different names. He goes by YZM, but we also call him Yizem. This is literally a brother, not a real brother, but like brother in life. Known this guy for over 15 years. I mean, this is basically family. He's one of the dopest artists in Tampa Bay, for real, and he's really coming up on his own, and he's making waves in the city of Tampa. Give it up for Yizem. How you doing, my boy?
What's good, bro? Thank you, Kim Bay, for this interview. I appreciate it. Yes, I'm glad that you mentioned that. We go way back. I'm talking about middle school before we knew each other. I'm talking about high school when we met each other through plays, hanging out at each other's cribs, all kind of shit, bro. Through my first musical journey as Young Z Money. So, yeah, bro, I appreciate the interview heavily, bro. And thank you for the introduction. You also forgot to tell me they call me Rage God in the city too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Rage God, man. I cannot forget about that. He's definitely the Rage God. But also at the same time, like if you know him personally, man, he is one of the most chill dudes ever. I mean, he's Rage because he gets y'all fucking hyped like when he's on stage. But just when you're around him, he's he's one of the chillest, most stand-up dudes ever.
I appreciate that, man. Also keep in mind that the way that I use rage sometimes is not always like hype, because rage is an emotion. You can be raging sad, you can be raging happy, all that shit. So that's where rage stands for me. So we get shit hype, but I can also be raging chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. Yeah, but still, also like I said. And also thank you for tapping me to do the interview as well. I mean, I'm also 100% honored to bring you out, so that way people will know more about you and all that. Some things that people may not know about Yizem himself. Like I said, I don't do any salacious stuff, so this is 100% raw, and here you're gonna hear all right here from the both of us.
I wouldn't have chose anybody else. You know what I mean? My day ones, there's even some stuff that he don't know about me that he's about to find out today too. So everybody stay tuned. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I can't wait. All right, so first and foremost, man, let me ask you this. So basically, tell me about your whole music journey, how you started and what led you up to this point right now.
I'm gonna try to keep this brief. I've always been into music. I grew up on pop and reggae majority, and then of course with my grandma, a lot of oldies. As she started to become saved, a lot of Christian music. Believe it or not, I was a youth pastor. I used to sing in a choir in church, and when I was young, I was much more of a vocalist that I'm transitioning back into now. But I was much more of a vocalist than a rapper. I was introduced to hip hop at a young age, but it wasn't the primary genre I listened to. The likes of, should I go into inspirations?
I mean, you could. I mean, that's gonna tie in. I mean, you can start with your inspirations at that time first. I mean, I'm going to ask you the other follow-up question later.
Say less. All right. So, it was the likes of DMX, Missy Elliott, and Busta Rhymes that really got me wanting to tap into hip hop, because when I was younger, the way I looked at hip hop was I couldn't relate to it. Everything was, I did come up in a rough upbringing in the hood and around thuggish areas, but it never interested me. So the visual complexes that Busta, Missy, and brought to the table, plus the pure raw emotion that DMX put into it, is what really opened up hip hop for me and made me want to be a rapper at that age. You know what I mean? I've been Young Z Money since elementary school, dead ass. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think I really got into the hip hop shit around age 8. I want to say I started rapping. Sometime in middle school, I told my mom and them about I'm surprised they never picked it up, but I finally told my mom and them about my rapping, and when I was in middle school, and then I showed them songs and shit, and they were always supportive from the jump, my mom and my family and shit. Then I joined the group in I want to say 2008 called the City Soldiers when I was a jit, and I couldn't curse, so they kind of kicked me out. My verses was dope, but they was clean, and we uploaded shit on MySpace and whatnot, but they wasn't having it. And then a good friend of mine named Yerrick, he bought a microphone so that he could record vocals for a video game, and he knew that I rapped, and I taught him how to rap and shit. And then he was like, "Hey, bro, I downloaded this program and I made this song." And he sent me a song, and I was like, "Nigga, you made a song? How the fuck?" So he showed me how to what programs to use, and I pretty much taught myself how to record. And my musical journey start right there. I want to say 2009. So that's the beginning of it. But all through from 2009 to 2013. I was still finding my footing in this rap shit. Around 2013, I dropped a breakout tape called Blast Off, accompanied with a video that was shot on my homie's phone. People liked the visuals of it. It got me put on a lot of blogs, local blogs in the city, got me a couple of clothing brand deals. And then I used to keep my face visibly not visible. Like I used to cover it up with like a PNG tape X. Mm-hmm. And then so I had a lot of fans on the internet from Reverb Nation and like early SoundCloud who wanted to see me. Then I got booked for my first show with some of the like bigger names in Tampa, and that's kind of how I exploded. Niggas came out to see me because they wanted to see what my face looked like and shit. And you know, I wasn't on no Pusha Preem shit. I wasn't wearing a mask. Yeah. So they came out, they seen me. The show was fucking dope. I still got footage of that online to this day, and yeah, that's where my musical journey began. Like right there. 2013, somewhere in, I want to say October or November. And, you know, that was the beginning of YZM turning into Yizem, turning into the Rays and all that shit. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a dope journey. I mean, I almost forgot about what we call the City Soldiers. I mean, I remember that in high school.
It was very, very brief. It was 2008. I see, at that time, I've never recorded a professional song in the studio. So I did 3 songs with City Soldier. One of them never came out. 2 of them were on MySpace, lost to this day because you know the MySpace dump. And then I recorded. I recorded 2 more songs. My first single ever called "What Is Life," and then a song that was a remix to "Drop and Give Me 50" by Mike Jones and Hurricane Chris with my homegirl Rakara. I forgot. I don't know what her rap name is now, but back then she went by Miss Crazy Flow. So that was my only time being in the professional studio recording a song. After that, I recorded myself for like years up until like 2013. Yeah.
All right. So now, like, we're gonna go into influences. So you mentioned those who influenced you in your early career, right? When you started coming up. So who are some more of your influences along the way? Probably while you're pretty much while you were finding your footing, and also who currently influences you today, whether it could be past, present, or whatever.
All right, so if we start from the beginning once more, like I said, we have DMX, Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes, and then like from there on, we have like Ludacris, right? We have we have Ludacris, we have Lil Wayne, obviously, Lupe Fiasco, Kanye West, who ultimately became my favorite, not only rapper, but artist of all time. You know what I mean? Despite the controversy. And yeah, those people who are like, and then pretty much in that whole cool era, like, I'm not going to say that these people inspired me to this day, but my inspirations in my early career were pulling from just people who are real popular, the Jerk era. I like the New Boys and Audio Push a lot. Of course, Wiz Khalifa on his come up, and then I like A$AP Rocky. He's still one of my biggest influence nowadays. Future, to a lesser extent, I like Tyler, Frank Ocean, The Internet, Earl Sweatshirt. You know what I mean? Because they seem to be the one with the most substance. Even when Tyler was doing shit for shop value, he still had some substance or some really dope lyrics or some dope production in there. Of course, like Flatbush Zombie, Joey Badass, the whole Beast Coast movement. So I was inspired by that whole movement that went on in like the early to mid 2010s. Then of course Travis Scott happened, and I met him, and that was very inspirational. I seen him from his come up from from like when he absolutely a nobody to where he is now. And then of course the whole South Florida scene, Denzel Curry, Raider Clan, fucking Space Ghost Perp, all of them, like that whole South Florida movement really like pushed me. Of course, X, love X. I wouldn't say that he really inspired me. I like what he was doing, but he made me believe like how versatile he is and how versatile I am. That there is a place in hip hop for youngins or people who are middle childs like myself. I'm not young, but I'm not old. Who can be versatile and still be taken serious? Because niggas hop on some flow rider shit and they call you a sellout. You know what I mean? But X was able to be on some pop shit and some rap shit and some hype shit and some conscious shit all at the same time. And I dabble in everything. So X was definitely one of my inspirations. Like one of the latest inspirations in me. You know what I mean? So I think we can cut it right there. I think X was probably one of the last people to inspire me to where I'm at now. My style is, I would not say that I'm inspired by people. Like, of course, the people earlier in my career inspired me to rap, but my influences only influenced me in certain aspects, never a complete bite of style. I don't sound like none of my idols. Like, I like Schoolboy Q a lot, and people compare us vocal wise, flow wise sometimes, but my flow is like, when you hear my flow, that's a Yizem flow. When you hear my voice, that's Yizem voice, so on and so forth. So I wouldn't say I wasn't the only person that I think completely bit was Lil Wayne. But then you look at the rap game, man. Most of us are Lil Wayne clones from the jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was a Young Money dick rider. I got all these tattoos. I got all these piercings, my dreads, and because Lil Wayne was doing it, it was cool. And most of the rap game still look like him. But that's the only rapper I can think of that I completely bit at one point in time. But for the most part, everything else was an influence just to push me in the direction of where I want to go. So those are my influences and shit. You know?
All right, cool. And also, at least to follow up with that question, is there anybody who's pretty much up there that you would like to collaborate with? I know last interview that I did, Nico Sweet mentioned Tierra Whack. Is there anybody is there any few people that you'd like to collaborate with one day on the project or something?
Yes. I don't want to work with my idols off rip. I do want to be in position one day where my idols I want my idols to see what I can do first, and then I want them to reach out to me first so I can be on their projects before I try to get them on my project. I think that'd be cool to show up on like a Kanye album. Like if I showed up on Donda 3, whatever the fuck comes next, and people are like, oh, who's that? You know, like Kanye fucked with me. He heard my music and he wanted to put me on. I know, like my big three always is gonna be Lupe, Wayne, and Kanye. And Lupe off the deep end right now. I love him, but he off the deep end on Twitter. I don't think that he would hear my style and want to work with me. Lil Wayne is a spoiled brat, and also is not making the best music of his life right now. He's back on his shit with the feature shit, but I don't think that Lil Wayne and me would get along. And then Kanye, you just got to catch him on a good day. You know what I mean? Yeah. So people that I want to work with are, I would say, like forgotten superstars or people who I think are past their potential. Like I would love to work with like OJ the Juice Man, because I think OJ the Juice Man was ahead of his time when it comes to trap shit. And I know it sounds like a joke. I think he was ahead of his time.
I didn't say it was a joke. I'm just surprised.
Exactly. Look, compatible to my style, I think OJ the Juice Man is like a pioneer in the trap shit, but he didn't want to be a superstar, so right. His potential didn't blow up in the mainstream. But I would love to have a song with him, because I just think that me and him would complement each other, shit like that. Like I even thought about like working with somebody like Young LA. He was on some goofy shit, got beat up, lost his career, but he had an impeccable flow. Young Dro as well, way ahead of his only issue was that he was way ahead of his time, and the rap game started to sound like him way after him, and then it went past his prime. So I would like to work with people. And then like when you talk about rage, my shit, OG Macko never comes up in conversation because he got blacklisted from the industry. I would love to work with somebody like OG Macko. You know what I mean? I think that he's really a dope artist. He doesn't just, he's also very versatile, but nobody ever know because nobody ever looked into him. Work with niggas like Rory, who was the first person to admit that they were an industry plant, shit like that. Just like a lot of obscure artists. And then like, of course, there's I'm working on a lot of alternative shit, a lot of pop shit, a lot of Afrobeat shit. So I like to work with motherfuckers like Benny Blanco and Max Martin because they write pop smashes. You know what I mean? One of my biggest inspiration in music right now, and I forgot to mention them earlier, is like Party Next Door and The Weeknd. And I would love to work with The Weeknd. But see, the thing about it is like Weeknd is doing this synth pop shit, and I want Dark Abel back, like from the Balloon trilogy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are some artists that I would want to work with in currently. Like, but if you would have asked me this last week, I probably would have said something different. You would have asked me this next week, I probably could say something different. It's like it's really depending on the timing when I'm working on the project and where I'm at now musically. Those are the people that I think that will work with me, you know, or I think I will work with well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool that you mentioned about, you know, you wouldn't say that last week because especially when it comes to hip hop is it's ever changing. You know, something is gonna be like it's gonna be cool, like it's cool the next week, and then like the next or following week will be something different because you know like a lot of things tend to change and whatnot. So let me ask you this: with the ever changing, with hip hop ever changing, and there's something that's always going to be the new hype. How do you manage to keep up with the changing paces of the genre?
I watch a lot of hip hop commentary online. I used to watch You Dig 4 Eyes 2 G's before he disappeared. I watch Babalam a lot. I watch Blackie Speaks. I watch Hip Hop DX. I watch Alpha Media, Voltgeist. A lot of video essays about different artists that I love and about new artists that come up. Like Alpha Media, I think that's what it's called. They talk about Brockhampton a lot of the new upcoming artists and so on and so forth. Hip Hop DX does hip hop news, sometimes gossip and shit. So I stay up to date with trends and current artists and current shit that's going on in hip hop just by, you know, paying attention. I'm a real hip hop head. You know what I mean? I have a podcast and we're on hiatus, but we talk about different current events that go on with hip hop and everything else surrounded by hip hop and just in the culture, period. You know, so I just kind of stay up to date by watching these video essays and these news alerts and shit. And then, of course, social media is important, but some people use it for the wrong reasons. Some people go on social media to flex, show that their life is better, cyberbully, harass people, try to fuck bitches. You know what I mean? And that's cool. And I'm not saying use it for what you want to use it.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it's not cool to use it for cyberbullying.
Well, I'm not. Oh, that's true,
yeah, that's the one part.
But of course, we don't condone cyberbullying, but yeah, some people use it for that. They go on the internet. I wouldn't even say, you know what? It's not even cyberbullying. Like some people go on there to troll, and then some people who don't have lives go on there and be cyberbullies. You know what I mean? If you troll and you shit post, you know, cool. But if you really just gonna try to bully somebody, bullying is never cool. Like, keep in mind, bullies aren't bulletproof. You're gonna try the wrong person one day. So, off of that, I use social media to not to like stalk celebrities, but just to keep up with the know. If you want to know what song, I don't listen to the radio, so if you want to know what song is currently popping, go to TikTok. What song has a trend? Where do these new artists come from? One of a good friend of mine's, a collaborator of mine, her name is Doji. Started in the Tampa underground and is now probably gonna be the next biggest superstar out of Tampa, Florida. You know what I mean? She did songs with Isaiah Rashad. She's on tour with SZA, and one of her songs, and it all came because she worked hard. Don't get it twisted. I'm not taking nothing away from her. She worked very hard to get into the position that she's in, but all it took was for her team to get one of her songs popping on TikTok. It went viral. Got the Genius, and then I'm not too sure what the timeline was, but I know from there on, opportunities came her way. Now, like I said, she has a song with Isaiah Rashad. She's on tour with SZA. SZA been fucking with her type shit, and she's doing her fucking thing. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta pay attention to what the youngest are doing, but you also gotta pay respects to what the old heads are doing. They gonna give you wisdom, you know, the OGs and whatnot. So I just stay in the know. Like, I'm not too big of a fan of Fat Joe, but he be on his podcast talking with other hip hop goats and hip hop legends, and even some current artists, and he stays dropping gems, and he's someone to listen to. People, I don't like DJ Academics at all, but he be on there really with the facts sometimes about how the industry works and who's doing what, so on and so forth. So just like paying attention to hip hop media, video essays, looking at what's trending on Twitter and TikTok. That's how I stay current.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and you know, you also brought up how like it's good to get wisdom from the old, like, you know, from the older artists and stuff, because that's another thing that hip hop really needs to embrace, because for decades, even since its inception, you know, there's always been a beef between between the old school and the new school, even as far back as even as far as 40 years ago, because even it's still like it tends to be a problem with that. I mean, how do you feel how do you feel when you hear someone say why we listen to this dude old, he irrelevant, or this one's like, oh man, why are we listening to this young here, these kids are just ruining hip hop? You know, what is your exact opinion like when you hear any of those type of words?
As a middle child, I would say to the OGs and to the YGs, shut the fuck up. Old heads always have an opinion on what y'all niggas are doing. Oh, back in my day, we ain't do shit like that. We was real niggas. Nobody gives a fuck, nigga. Your glory days have came and they have passed. Just be a graceful OG and look out for the youngest. Just give them advice. But if they're doing something that you don't condone of it, don't condone of it silently. If you feel like it's something that could hurt them, then reach out to them like, hey, I wouldn't do that. That'll fuck you up. And go on your way. You're supposed to give wisdom, but you're not supposed to knock what they're doing. You know what I mean? Because hip hop is still a relatively young genre, and every genre hated on us when we first came out. So why are we doing it the same thing in our own respective genre, right? And to the YGs, shut the fuck up about niggas being old and irrelevant. Because some of these old head, some of the niggas who were saying, oh, y'all niggas old, y'all ain't doing shit with y'all life. We popping right now. Ain't even popping no more. Nobody know who you are. Nobody listens to your music. You don't get the money. You don't get the proper amount of streamings, and you disappeared off the face of the earth, and you won't have a legacy while these old niggas that you trying to diss have been cemented in hip hop. And only we're trying to look out for you. It's a two-way street. That's why I say old heads need to support the youngest, and youngest are not supposed to get rid of their goals. I know that I say that in rock, maybe from the outside looking in, I don't see people who listen to rock dissing their goats more. I know that it does exist, but these old niggas can go on tour at the age of 80 in a fucking wheelchair, and people still gonna come out and buy their tickets, and it's gonna sell, and they gonna rock the fuck out. While in hip hop, since we're still a relatively new genre, we got rappers just getting ready to turn, just hitting their 50s, and niggas are already trying to call them irrelevant. You know what I mean? It don't make no sense. These niggas have platinum and gold plaques. Some even have diamond albums, and they can still go on tour. They still got massive fan base. But then a young nigga comes in and like, oh, this is a young man's game. We gonna run this shit. But like, are you really? You know what I mean? So that's why as a middle child, I'm like, I'm conflicted. Like, I be wanting to tell the young niggas to shut the fuck up. I want to be telling the old niggas to shut the fuck up too. You know what I mean? And I feel like how we can handle that is just if everybody support each other. If the youngins look up to the goats and see what they did, and just like, you don't have to do exactly what you do, but just move accordingly. And then if the old heads look at the young niggas and support what they do, co-sign them, whatever, and we can all thrive. You know what I mean? And then we can be a relatively less toxic genre where everybody is fucking with each other. And I see that I've noticed in recent history that the young niggas that are coming up are not dissing the goats no more. It was more prominent in the SoundCloud era, and I look at the SoundCloud era as the punk era of hip hop, where as the punks were kind of dissing, the punk rockers were kind of dissing the regular rockers when they first came out at first too, just because like, oh, that shit old, that shit whack, them songs too long, we gonna do it short. The SoundCloud rappers did the same shit, short songs, dissing old niggas, but you know, some of them didn't last and some of them didn't. And then some of them grew up and realized, damn, I was going about it the wrong way. So I just think we all should get along, and I think both old heads and young heads should shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. All right, so also you just brought up briefly about your podcast. Was it Black Unorthodox Podcast? Yeah, you want to talk a little bit more about that?
I'm not gonna go into deep details. We're on a hiatus right now. Me and my boy Cloudmaster, we run it. It also was helped created by Lars Darko. He unfortunately couldn't be a part of the contract. I mean, a part of the podcast due to a contract situation at first, but he still definitely helped us build that up from the jump. So we gonna get that back up and running soon. But you can still follow us at I think it's The Black Unorthodox on IG. We will start becoming more active in 2022 and on once we go off our hiatus. And pretty much just to sum up what we talk about is like what our interview is about. We bring other budding hip hop artists from the city and some vets, some ghosts, and some people who are not even hip hop artists. Sometimes we bring R&B singers on there, pop stars. Sometimes we bring people who do clothes on there. Sometimes we bring other podcasts and collab. You know what I mean? Sometimes we bring models on there and just talk about it. We're unorthodox, and we don't just talk. Even when we do bring those people on, if you're a fashion designer, we're not going to talk to you about clothes the whole time. We're going to ask you about your clothes, ask you about who inspired you, ask you about what you're trying to do with your clothes, but then we're going to also ask you about the new SpongeBob episodes that come out. And we're going to talk about the new video games that come out. And we're going to talk about the climate of the world and who's better than who and what's going on. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to get really unorthodox. Then we're going to go into conspiracy theories. You know what I mean? Then we're going to freestyle. We do everything on a podcast. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna argue too. Me and Cloudmaster. Yeah. So if you're looking for a party on a podcast, definitely fuck with the Black Orthodox. We do have episodes up that you can watch just to get familiar with us. The format might change a little bit when we start back up, but for the most part, it's gonna be the same. Very very unorthodox and very for the people. You know what I mean? So yeah.
All right. So while we on the in a way we're like going to be on the subject of podcasts, but in more this is going to be a transition to something else of your other talents. So you mentioned that you got a podcast. I also have a podcast. It's called Nollywood Swinging. I talk about Nigerian films and TV shows. And if you guys listen to the podcast on Spotify and anywhere else you listen to it, you notice that there's an Afrobeat that's playing from in the beginning, like at the start of the podcast, and even also at the end. But what y'all don't know, what y'all gonna know right now, is that this man right here is the creator of that instrumental. He's the one who made like my intro song. So now with this one here, with your beat making, because first of all it's like improved significantly and everything. So how'd you first got into that, and what genres do you go when it comes to making beats?
All right, so I will start. We're gonna slide all the way back to 2008. My first time trying to make a beat, I think it was on Logic. Back in 2008 with my homie Jay Black. He was also a part of the City Soldiers. He died the same year I met him, so rest in peace. He was one of the few people that was looking out for me in the City Soldiers. Not trying to diss anybody else. Word to Shotters, word to Major, whatever they doing, word to Drizzy. But obviously I wasn't one in the group. But Jay Black, who had the studio at his home, is the one who helped me start creating beats. And I wasn't really good at first, you know what I mean? I took a hiatus. You and a couple of other people in my group. There was a dude in my group named Harlem Kid. We're not really cool with each other, but his beats were not all that either. He had a couple of good ones, and and I appreciate him for what he was at the time. But I heard his beats, and I was like, if somebody taught me how to make beats, I'll snap on everybody in the city. Not just him. I'm not even trying to diss him. It's like I'll snap on everybody in the city. I'll be the best. But I was cocky back then. You remember how I was. So Jacoby made beats and his shit was hard. Then you start making beats and your shit was hard. I'm not gonna lie, you was definitely one of my inspirations. Cause you came out of the abyss and you just had hard beats already. I'm like, nigga, how the fuck? So
I was okay. I mean, I'm not selling anything. I was all right.
When y'all get the opportunity, go look up Kimbe Score's Belly Dance Dream. He made that beat himself. And that was only within a few months of you making beats? Fuck out of here. This nigga was dope. Anyways, so I would say during the quarantine.
Let's start again from so we're gonna continue off. We had to cut right here because the camera just shut off a little bit. So you were continuing about making beats and everything. So let's go where we left off.
So yeah, where we left off, I said I already did say what happened in 2008. So we're gonna take it to 2015. I started dating my girlfriend. She said it. She was looking for specific beats, but obviously YouTube and some of the producers in the city couldn't make what she was looking for. So she told me she wanted to make her own beats, and I was like, "That's cool. That's something that we can do, but it's not gonna be easy." You know what I mean? All from 2015 and on, a lot of people around me started making beats. My homie Richie Guapo started making beats, and he started snapping at that shit. I started aligning myself with people who did make beats, like the Unfuckwittables. That's Tanner Dawson and Pat the Engineer. Them niggas were dope as fuck. You know what I mean? And then the quarantine happened. Now we go to the quarantine. I've met this dude named Crisis the year prior. Crisis is a Renaissance man. He does what there's a lot of people in the city who do a lot of things, but I wouldn't call out Crisis and Richie Guapo for being two people who I know do everything. Richie Guapo's a rapper. He's a photographer. He's a videographer. He's a skater. He makes clothes. He does everything. You know what I mean? Me, myself, I'm a rapper. I have a podcast. I make beats, so on and so forth. You know, Crisis, photographer, rapper, videographer, blah, blah, blah. We all kind of dabble in everything. And I think as a rapper, you should, because there's going to be some times where another photographer can't do it, so you got to do it yourself. A videographer not going to be able to do what you want to do, so you got to do it yourself. A video editor is not going to be able to edit how you want, so you got to do it yourself. You have to learn, and I taught myself how to do most of these things off of the strength of I have to get this shit done, and either I don't have the money or I don't have the assets or the people are not fucking with me, so I had to learn how to do this shit. So my homie Crisis, I want to make beats. My homie Crisis is teaching my girl how to make beats, and I'm seeing him, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try this shit. So I get on there and I have people around me like Fetty Suo, I have people around me like Lil Igor, I have people like Richie Guapo and Crisis, and they like are just showing me the ropes, but nobody is inherently handing me like, here, this is how you do it. So it's once more, I still had to learn. But once Crisis told me one thing about how to layer, and from there on, I just started going ham. My beats went from being trash to being moderately okay within a matter of months.
Right.
And I still don't think that I'm very good. There's still not a lot of things that I don't do, but, and this is the biggest thing, when you ask me about genres of beats too, I cannot make beats that I want to rap on. There's been a few that I can rap on, but my beats sound like they're for everybody else. One of the easiest genres that I picked up was Afrobeat. Those came natural. The minute that I was able to envision what the fuck I wanted to do, I was making like industry level, I feel like, Afrobeats on accident.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it just took. I started learning like March 2020. By the time 2021 came around, I was fucking lit. I got to a point where I was making beats where I could teach people how to make beats. I got to a point where if we were at a session and somebody needed a beat made, I met my homegirl. She goes by Created a Riot on IG, but her name's Marina K. I met her the end of 2020, and I made a beat for her for one of her singles like almost immediately when I met her. You know what I mean? Just like that. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like that's my journey with making beats. Like I just quarantine, needed to learn something new. It was another thing I could add to shit that I do, because I do, like I said, videos, I do photography, I'm a rapper, I have a podcast, I dabble in a lot of shit. It's like it's time to add beat making into my repertoire, you know what I mean? So I did what I had to do.
All right. Yeah, man, that's really good, man. So yes, the things that it is important for like people to be like Renaissance men or women, you know, just dabble in a little bit of everything, because you've been doing, because you mentioned the video editing thing, because I don't want to bring this up because it involves both of us in it, but you know, when we used to make videos in high school, like, because we were making those shits, you know. Yeah. I mean, listen, look, we were thinking ahead. It's just that the resources that we had and stuff, I mean, it was a struggle. It was like, because keep in mind, it was like 2008 and everything, you know, like YouTube was something brand new. Everybody was just like posting their own shit, you know. It was just the wild west at the time,
bro.
You know.
I tell these youngins all the time, bro. As early as 2014, bro. I tell these youngins all the time. I'm like, bro, the world is your fucking oyster, my G. It literally was the Wild Wild West for us, bro. We didn't know what the fuck we was doing. There's a rapper out. He's pretty popular. He just got a video done by a popular videographer named Nervin.com. And his name is Clappers. Jit's 13, living his dream, cause he recorded a song on his phone, a fully mixed song on his phone, and released it to TikTok, and it went viral. This kid is 13. Do you understand how life would have been if I could have recorded a song on my phone at 13? Bro,
Yeah.
I can't even fathom.
Yeah, I mean, you telling me I'm still like, cause there's even still some videos that were made like a long time that there's people that people set milestones already or like who were around our ages when we were kids. Like I'm still I'm still low key kind of mad that Fred had a big ass career like from YouTube and stuff. I mean, I was thinking shit like, cause here's the thing, look. Our videos at the time, because we did like little like sketch comedy and stuff, was trying to be like Chappelle and Derek comedy. Shout out to Donald Glover, Charles Gambino for that.
For real.
He inspired us like even before music.
Yeah,
But
he's another inspiration of mine. I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Donald Glover, Charles Gambino. Yes, sir.
Yeah, another Renaissance dude. But still, I mean, because like I said, our videos were nothing to nothing to laugh home about or something. But we had some substance and stuff. I mean, maybe because I don't know what that I don't think even know if there was like some type of algorithm or whatever, or like even some type of plan. We just went out there and did it. Yeah. So. Let me see. So let me see other questions. Okay. So let's go with currently right now with your with how you doing the music scene. You're out there because there's a time when that you're trying to get put on some shows. Now you're at a point where you pretty much are hosting your own shows and stuff. Like live, and like you just making them a bunch of connections. So tell us a little bit about that too.
Sheesh. A little birdie once told me that if you can't get booked for shows, throw your own shows. Sometimes you don't have the resources to do so. Sometimes you don't have people in your corner. When I first came on the scene, I've already kind of studied the scene. Granted, I tell people a lot, I'm an Aries. I was a hothead, I was very sensitive, and I was very cocky. I thought I was the best at everything. I didn't listen to nobody. I took no advice. And I thought I was the best rapper out of Tampa because the only person that we had to show for it was like all the old school Juke City artists. I didn't think Tampa had a scene until it was revealed to me, and I realized there was other artists who could do what I do and already had a head start at what I wanted to do and had shit that was visually better. That's what made me step up, and that's what humbled me. With that being said, once getting my first show, the first booking was easy, but then once my name got around by some people who didn't like me, I was blacklisted, and that forced me to have to work a little bit harder than the other people. There was people in my clique that were more popular than me at the time, who people wanted to snatch up and take away from my clique Macavision, and they respectfully declined and would rock with me. And I'm glad we worked so hard building our name, building our brand, even though people were told to separate themselves from us and shit, that we became a prominent force, that there wasn't a show in Tampa that you didn't see a Macavision or a Macavision artist or a Macavision associate on. There's a lot of artists in the city that we touched that didn't have a name that blew up off of being around us or having a feature with us. And I stand on that. The scene was very different before me and my niggas on it. It was really slow music, really boom bap, like one nigga on stage, it went for us being really hype, really rowdy, and all our niggas on stage. Nobody wanted to book us, so we booked ourselves. Nobody wanted us to come to the shows and parties, so we showed up anyways, and we made our connections, our network. People who didn't like us was pulling us aside saying, damn, I seen you in places that I ain't want to see you at, keep grinding. They had to change their mind because they seen that we wasn't gonna stop. We made it on Rolling Loud in 2015. We came home from Rolling Loud to a headlining show, and we took over the city and helped motherfuckers like the Chiefers, YP, Forever Underground, create a whole underground movement that was going on in 2015 and 2016 with the whole Chiefers situation, even on to 2017. Pretty much our grind and the things that we did were so inevitable that people had to it was so inevitable that people had to give us our credit, give us our shine. So it was definitely a working process. So we had to do what we had to do. You know what I mean? And because of that, now I have every connection in the world. There was people, like people who are prominent now. Like I said, once more, Doechii. Look at her, what she got going on. Verified, one of the biggest stars, so on and so forth. We have DZ Wee. He was a no name trying to grind. Not saying his connection or his success came from me specifically, but just a cosign, giving him his first show that people watched at. It's what he said, you know, his own words. And then giving him that platform, having people see him. Now he became one of the most. At one point in time, he was one of the most prominent artists in Tampa. You know what I mean? We got Pusha Preem, who already was a known artist before The Mask. Then after The Mask, I met Preem and I threw him into the underground, and he used his business platform to boost him to where he's at. I'm not taking credit for nothing nobody got going on. I'm just saying the same way niggas helped me, I put a hand in that shit, and I made some genuine connections because that connection with Preem helps me nowadays get into doors I probably never would have been able to step in. You know what I mean? Right. That connection with Doechii, that connection with Jay Briscoe, and all of my homies, even some people that I don't rock with nowadays. Just me being a genuine person, me grinding to get where I'm at, me doing these shows, me doing these features, put me in a position where I can throw my own shows, where I can go on tour, I can open up for these artists, I can step into doors and touch artists that I never thought I could. So it's all about working, grinding to get where you at. And that's why I went from not being able to be booked for a show to now being able to throw my own show at a whim. You know what I mean? Going from motherfuckers hitting me up trying to charge me for a show to paying me to open up for artists. You know what I mean? It's a level, and I talk to these younger artists all the time who pay to play. I say, if that's how you want to go about it, you can go about it, but they're not gonna respect you. But there's other ways to go about it. If you don't get booked, book yourself. You know what I mean? If step out, network, show face, build these genuine connections, because you never know who you meet that's gonna help you get to that next level. If we acted like some of these artists in Tampa, we would still be in the same position, but we move accordingly. You know, I try not to. People say that we're standoffish sometimes because of the way we look, but I'm a very nice person. If you come talk to me, I'm gonna network with you. I'm gonna throw you an opportunity. You throw me an opportunity. It's not always about business though, you know, genuine connections too. But like, you're gonna always wanna fuck with somebody who's gonna fuck with you. If you have an opportunity to throw their way, typically they always return a favor. You know what I mean? So it's just genuine connections, grinding, so on and so forth. That's how I got to where I'm at. You did?
Yeah, that's really important. That's a really good way to like sum all that up. So you know, speaking with connections and also you know, like with the connections that you made and the doors that got foot in, you got to open for Waka Flocka Flame.
Yes, sir.
Now, briefly tell me about that experience, how that was like, and did you get to meet him in person?
I got to meet Waka Flocka, but I didn't talk to Waka Flocka. My night was already made, to be honest. Pretty much, the experience was fucking beautiful. I was on there with my homies, with some of my day ones. Richie Guapo, I found this nigga on the internet at the age of 16. He's a prominent star in Tampa, if you ask me. A force to be reckoned with. He was on stage with me with the camera. Pusha Preem, somebody I met on a whim, 2016, helped me get the opportunity and was rocking on stage with me. He wanted the opportunity to be thrown directly at me, but I'm not the artist to go to. They wanted Preem. But when my song came on our set, no offense to Preem, obviously Preem jams, but the crowd, it's Waka Flocka. I'm Yizem, I'm the rage guy. The crowd felt that, and you can look at the crowd accordingly. They treated me like a celebrity. I thought I got off stage. I like, nigga, I wake up, I shit, I shower, I brush my teeth, and I gotta go to work just like y'all. But they loved me. They loved me because of the energy that I brought on stage. It was a great experience, and I'm like, I need to feel this more. That day pushed me to be like, these are the type of shows that I'm doing from now on. You know what I mean? It was a great experience. I was up there with people that I love. I was up there doing music that the crowd really was eating up. I got so many followers. It was a dope experience, and it's only up from there. You know what I mean? It's only up from there.
Yeah, man, yeah, that's really good. That's really tight. Man, I'm sorry that I missed that show. I would have came, but it doesn't matter like what I had going on.
It's
but
only
still,
up for there. We trust me when I tell you,
yeah,
we're gonna have more opportunities, and you carry the camera around. We can get you a media pass easily. So, yes, sir.
Definitely. Yeah, you heard that, folks. You know, like so that happens. You're gonna see you're gonna see even more content on the channel. But anyway. Let's you mentioned basically a lot of the positives when it comes to this. You even touched on some negatives. Were there any experiences that were like that you had that were negative? Any negative encounters within people in this industry? You don't have to name names, but just if there's any, you could list some experiences that were kind of negative to you.
When I first jumped on the scene, I rubbed some people the wrong way. I guess I was too optimistic, and some people wanted to stay big in the city. Like I said, I was blacklisted, but I worked my way out of that. So some of those people who did want to count me out, I'm cool with today. We've apologized, we've reconciled, so on and so forth. Then there's some people in recent history that I worked with that I probably should not have, that put me in really fucked up positions, but I had to cut some people off, and it's for the better. Not to mention, in those experiences, I realized that I know that I say that network is important in showing faces, but I realized that a lot of rappers are weird. I don't like a lot of rappers. I like my day ones. I like friends. I like people who are genuine. But a lot of rappers who are in my position or higher sometimes be on some really weird shit. The industry itself, I mean, I'm pretty sure even when I'm famous, it's gonna be the same way. Rappers, I don't know if all artists are, but I'm around a lot of rappers, and these rapper niggas are weird. One of the things is from the year 2019 up until now, touching a lot of these rappers who have their foot in the industry, some of them don't even know what they're doing. Some of them be in with record deals, check marks, and all kinds of shit without knowing how to release their own music. They do all this shit for clout. They go tat their face up, do all these drugs, be all on social media, not knowing that the world is laughing at them, clowning them, and their 15 minutes of fame is at the expense of them making music and them being a puppet for the record industry, to be a nobody within the next 2 years and not be relevant at all. And then they still act like they're better than everybody. Rappers, some of these rappers, I'm not saying all these rappers, this does not apply to every famous rapper, every middle child, every gatekeeper, every person who has their foot in the trap and their foot in the industry. But some of the people that I were around are weirdos. They're rappers. Some rappers are weird as fuck, bro. It kind of ruined what it would be like to either be a celebrity or hang around celebrities. I'll tell you that. I didn't enjoy it. That's why I have to get on for myself and for people that I love and bring them up with me, so I don't have to hang around some of these rappers when I am in that better position. I'm not dissing nobody. I'm not knocking nobody grind, but I just can't be around that type of energy, bro. I'm not too big of a fan of Logic, but I used to clown him for trying to start that antisocial shit like, oh, I don't fuck with nobody. It's just me, my wife, and my little doggy. And I say to myself, after dealing with these rappers, I'm like, you know what? Not even a fan of Logic, but I understand. It's gonna be me, my girlfriend, my niggas, rappers that I came up with. I'm not gonna fuck with a lot of these rappers. I'm really not. You know what I mean? Unless we can do a genuine connection, bro. I'm trying to tell you. But I'm not. Once more, I'm not dissing anybody. It's not any specific. If it was somebody who helped me get to that level, I still rock with you. You know what I mean? Right. But it's like the people that were around us, I wasn't rocking with. A lot of the shit that I seen when I was at these industry meetings, when I was at these industry parties, when I was at these industry shows, when I was backstage, I didn't rock with it at all, not in the least bit. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's a good way to sum it up, because you do need your day ones and like the people you do care about to come with you, because at least with those people who genuinely care about you, you know, they'll help you maintain your sanity and stuff. Because we see too many people who either don't bring their day ones with them, or they just like kind of cut them off, and then you see them kind of go off the deep end.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Stay with your day ones. Don't let no fucking record contract tell you differently. If your record contract say, I'm only bringing you, and that's the only deal you can take, be smart. Take the deal, but stay with your family, stay with your friends. Make sure you help them build up. Don't get around these new rappers, think that they cool and think that they won't turn their back on you, because they will. I hung around people who hang out one day, diss each other on the internet the next day, and then be right with that same person the day after that. Yeah, can't do it. Couldn't be me. I've said multiple times. Once, if you ever diss me out in the open and me and you don't resolve that, ain't no hitting me up on some, oh bro, let's hang out type shit. Nah, cause you did all that. You did all that for what? You know what I mean? You did all that for what? Like, right. We could have handled that like men. Even if you wanted to fight, we could have fought and still been cool. You know what I mean? Brothers fight. Me and my cousin fight all the time. I love that nigga. He gotta, we gotta see each other. Sometimes, as men, sometimes talking ain't gonna cut it. Sometimes you gotta punch a nigga in the face. You know what I mean? That don't mean that we ops. But with that being said, even after the fight, you can still be cool. But it's never gonna be. I've never got to a point where I had to be like, I don't fuck with this person, and post that shit with a message I typed on my thumb on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on IG, on TikTok. I've never had to do that, because if I had a discretion with somebody, I would handle that. I'll be like, I'll hit them in the DM, like, what's wrong? Call me. Or when I see them in person, I'll be like, what's up? What was all that? Like, we straight? Is that an issue? Do we need to talk it out, or do we need to fight it out? What's up? Or do we need to just agree to not fuck with each other? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't do that. Yizem is a bitch shit. And then, hey bro, let's hang out. Nah, it's not me. Niggas is weird, bro. So I just said, yeah, I can't do it. So yeah, it's like there's a lot of positives on this one, but there's a lot of negatives too. You just gotta learn how to move accordingly. Keep your day ones with you. Niggas will switch if they don't know you. If they feel niggas is sensitive, that's why. If they feel like you're doing something better than them, or you're not getting recognition for something, or they feel like you, for some reason, if a switch flip in their mind and they think, man, he doing something different that he don't usually do. It could be just a sudden tone. Niggas will switch on you and try to call you out,
right?
Instead of trying to talk to you. Niggas be on some super sensitive shit. Like, I know this whole Gen Z generation, we care about everybody's feelings. We don't like to invalidate feelings, but there's still a way to move. There's still a way to. People still want closure. You still gotta talk to people. You can't just go off the deep end. So if a nigga ever snap on me on some weird shit, that's just the end of our relationship like that. I can't do it. Keep your day ones. People who gonna understand you. Me and you can be mad at each other, but we can be like, hey, bro, I ain't fuck with that shit. You like, my bad, or nah, I ain't fuck with that shit. We could either fight it out, talk it out, or we'll just get over it and be cool again. But you my day one. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like that. These new niggas gonna be on some wild shit, so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. All right. So Now I got one last question. So with your projects, with your music, you have anything any upcoming projects that you're working on, or some soon be released? Anything?
Yes, I'll start by saying, everybody knows that I'm a rapper. Everybody knows that I do like, I can be conscious, but for the most part, I want to say from 2016 and on, I've been doing kind of like a trappish rage type sound. You know what I mean?
Right.
Recently in 2021, I switched to a more experimental sound. I do a lot of different genres. I was doing some rock, some Afrobeat, a lot of lyrical and conscious rap. A lot of pop shit, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I want to go ahead and plug those first. I dropped the EP last year called Dark Pop, and another EP at the end of the year called Disaster. Both of them vary in the type of genres that are on there. My main project that I'm pushing is, as you can see, this hoodie, Love Sick Black Summer. Word to Kimbe for buying the merch, you know, that's my nigga. Called Love Sick Black Summer. I'm still pushing that now, but I'm actually I don't know if I can say this, but so I'm gonna just say it. I got a distribution deal. I'm not gonna say with who they distribute under, but the name of the company is FAB. So word to FAB for the distribution deal. And it has some nice ties to it, and I'm working on my first project under this distribution called Nightmare Child. You know, it's still Macavision, always gonna be Macavision, but this distribution deal is gonna allow me to release my independent music through a machine. You know what I mean? It's gonna really fuck with me. When I say machine, I'm not talking about no bots or nothing. I'm talking about like there's a network of people that's gonna really help me push with this shit. It's for people who take shit literally. But
yeah, that'll be another thing. I'm on to the conspiracy theories on your podcast.
Because people like, oh, the machine.
Yeah.
You like the bots? You know what I mean? Nah. But I'm working. Yeah, it's called Nightmare Child. That's what I'm working on now. I just recorded my first single, Pink Dress, off of that project. Well, I just recorded the first single, but I've already been recording singles since like even around the time I was recording Lovesick. So, you know, it's in a different. This one's a lot more popish, indie punk type sound to it. So yeah, I'm dabbling in genres. And plus, after the Waka Flocka show, it really wanted me to get back into the real hype trap rage shit. So I also got an EP coming for that. So you're gonna hear both sides of Yizem this year for certain.
Yeah, you hear, folks. You got a whole lot of variety of music for like coming from Yizem coming soon, you know. And also, this is basically end of the interview. So before we go, is there any upcoming shows that you like to plug in?
Yes. Word to my homie Miss Mary Jane. She has like a lot of abscess and shit and shit that's going on with her teeth. I don't know all the logistics. I just know that she needs to get those specific teeth pulled so that certain abscesses around her brain area and her heart area can be drained so that she can not die. We're doing a show for her called Feel the Vibe. It's a show, but it doubles as a fundraiser. So that's gonna be on February 5th. So
that's my brother's birthday.
Oh, word to Kike Nine.
Yeah, subscribe to my brother's YouTube channel.
And that boy doing his thing too. Word to that little nigga for real. But yeah, word to him. Happy birthday to that nigga. But we will be doing a show on that day. And then I'm throwing my first personal event of the year. I used to throw a lot of shows back in 2016. I've thrown only a few shows since then, but this is like my return to throwing my own shows, and it's called The Elite, and that's gonna be on February 20th. So yeah, word to those shows. That's on the first show, the Feel the Vibe the fundraiser. That's gonna be at the Pegasus Lounge, and The Elite is gonna be at Hooch and Hive in downtown Tampa. So yes, sir.
All right, there we go. All right. First of all, thank you for doing this interview with me, and also quickly plugging your social. Thanks for doing this interview with me.
Yes, sir.
So go ahead and plug in your socials for the viewers that are watching this.
On Twitter is YZMX. You can follow me there if you want to. I'm not very active there, just to be honest. I got to get better. I'm mostly active on Instagram, and that's YZM.III. I have a lot of other pages on there too. You can follow. You can follow the Black Unorthodox. You can follow Rage God if you want to. I post like leaks and funny shit on there. You can follow the Macavision page. It should be Macavision.III, if I'm not mistaken, because Third Eye Gang, obviously. Follow them. That's me and my clique. And then, of course, you can find all of my music on all streaming platforms just by typing in Yizem. You know what I mean? I'm on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon Prime, YouTube, shit, all that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just search Yizem, YZM. You know what I mean? I'm Googleable, all that shit.
All right. Yeah, there you go. And also, if you guys like this video and you want to see more interviews like this and other content on this channel, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, so that way you can be notified with all the latest videos. Just click the notification bell and everything like that. You'll see more interviews with more artists and even other people who may not be in the music, just like any other folks. Also, you could check out my socials. I'm on IG at chemvisuals. .com. Check me out IG on chemvisuals. All right, you'll see how it's spelled. All the social medias is going to be in place on the screen. You'll see it on there. So I've been Kim.
Yizem, Big Yes, Rage God, all that good shit.
Yep. And we out. Peace.
You did.